carcinogens. Joyce runs his business in Drogheda like a top-secret military operation. For some reason, however, it's completely different in Balbriggan. In fact, his operation there is quite open, even brazen. Week after week, we secretly filmed cigarettes stacked on a number of stalls in full view of the public. Joyce often worked on one of the stalls, chatting with customers as they made their purchases. So where does Joyce get his cigarettes from? Well, for the last 6 months we went undercover and traced his operation back to a number of his sources who operate both north and south of the border. For example, every Thursday or Friday we trailed him as he drove to this disused and secluded bridge at Ballymascanlon in North County Louth. Each week we saw Joyce being met by this woman, Elizabeth MacDonald, who lives in Bellurgan, just 500 metres from the bridge. It was there the cigarettes and cash changed hands. The quantity varied on each occasion, ranging from a number of master cases containing 10,000 cigarettes in each, down to a couple of black refuse sacks full. On busy weeks he made a second or third trip to the same spot to collect extra supplies. Once the exchange was complete, Joyce and MacDonald went their separate ways. Elizabeth MacDonald's house in Bellurgan is registered in her name and that of her husband Michael. Recently, customs officers uncovered 120,000 illegal cigarettes when they carried out a search of the premises. Earlier this year, a four-wheel drive and a van, both belonging to Mr. MacDonald, were seized when close to 300,000 cigarettes were discovered inside the vehicles. Had the cigarettes been sold in the markets, it would have resulted in the loss of almost €150,000 to the taxpayer. Just last week, we again captured Jerry Joyce and Elizabeth MacDonald carrying out their weekly transaction on Ballymascanlon Bridge, this time under the cover of darkness. 3 cases of cigarettes, that's 30,000 cigarettes and thousands of euro changed hands. However, on this occasion, rather than use his old Toyota Corolla as he always did in the past, Joyce made the collection in his sleek 5 Series BMW, which he recently acquired. Then it was off to Drogheda to deliver the cigarettes to Mayfield. The following morning we confronted Mr. Joyce as he left the storage house in Drogheda on his way to the market with a shopping bag full of cigarettes. As we approached, he tried to dump his stockpile under a nearby car.
Jerry, hi. Uncle Bar here from Prime Time Investigates. We just wanted to talk to you about the illegal cigarette business you're running in the northeast. Can you tell me a little bit about it? Well, the cigarettes you just dropped there on the ground. Pardon?
Don't mind, don't stop.
And also the fact that you're using children to sell cigarettes.
Oh, I don't know.
Tell me about that. The fact that you're selling counterfeit cigarettes. The fact that the cigarettes that you're selling have poisons in them. Much larger quantities. Have you anything to say, Jerry? Jerry, will you talk to us about the cigarette business?
The bag Joyce threw under the car just moments earlier contained more than 1,000 cigarettes.
You've visited some of the markets, and it is fair to say that in the main, the sale of the cigarettes are controlled by members of the travelling community.
So are you suggesting that members of the travelling community are working in cahoots with the likes of the criminal gangs or the paramilitaries?
They may not be directly working in cahoots with them, but they are certainly distributors on their behalf.
Working directly as distributors for the paramilitaries?
Yes.
A week ago, customs officers raided a number of premises and vehicles in County Louth associated with Jerry Joyce and his illegal business. More than 130,000 counterfeit cigarettes were seized. Incredible as it might seem, less than 24 hours later, we found Joyce back in business, openly selling cigarettes in the Balbriggan market.
Basically, these guys are giving 2 fingers to the customs and revenue.
Yes, we have come across a number of cases where they're up and running within 24 hours, and it does frustrate the customs officer on the ground. However, we will simply hit them again, we will disrupt them, we will take the cigarettes again. We have a much harder policy in relation to asset seizure, and that means if they're caught with cigarettes in a vehicle, be it a car or a truck, we will take the car.
The major players in the illegal cigarette business here are constantly looking for new or better ways to boost their profits. There is increasing evidence that criminal gangs and paramilitaries here have acquired a machine for manufacturing cigarettes and are producing millions of counterfeit brands in a location close to the border. Recently, customs officials in Antwerp in Belgium seized a container packed with huge quantities of everything you need to make cigarettes. This is just a sample of some of the cigarette-making paraphernalia that was uncovered by customs officers here in Antwerp in Belgium when they seized the container a number of weeks ago. What was most interesting about that container from an Irish perspective is the fact that in the container there were thousands upon thousands of these packets. John Player Blue cigarettes are only sold in Ireland. It's certain that all of this material was heading for the Irish market, where cigarettes were going to be produced, packed in these containers and then sold.
They're not going to bring all these cartons and filters in for no other reason other than to be produced in an illegal factory. The fact that the markings are for cigarettes only produced in Ireland and that the health warnings were in the Irish language indicates that there could very well be an illegal factory in Ireland.
Evidence and our intelligence would indicate that there is a cigarette manufacturing plant producing cigarettes for the Irish market. And looking at it, it's very possible that that is on the island of Ireland, somewhere possibly around the border area.
Earlier we showed you how criminals in the Far East were willing and able to illegally counterfeit any cigarette brand we wanted. They were also willing to use their underworld contacts to ship their products to Ireland. Well, you might be surprised to learn that you don't have to go to the Far East to link up with some of the major players in the illegal cigarette trade. In fact, as you're about to find out in a moment, you don't even have to leave the country, because one of the key players lives here in Ireland. A few months ago, we found a website called Alibaba.com. The site featured prominently in an ad campaign on TV recently.
With instant access to millions of buyers and suppliers, Alibaba.com will introduce you to the right people to make your business a success.
And it does exactly what it says on the tin. You can literally buy or sell absolutely anything on the site, including everything you need to set up your own cigarette manufacturing business. Aside from the buying and selling, the site encourages buyers and sellers to come together to network. While searching the site, we came across Mark Chang, a China-based cigarette supplier. During an exchange of emails over a number of weeks, he offered to manufacture counterfeits of any major cigarette brand we wanted. We asked Mr. Chang if it would be possible to meet face-to-face to discuss a deal. To our absolute amazement, he told us his business partner, Martin, who looks after his operation in this part of the world, actually lives in Ireland and would be willing to meet us. One phone call to Martin and the meeting was arranged for a hotel close to Dublin Airport.
Hey, you have some samples?
I do. I tell you, they're only old ones I have. The back on them, they'll be old, like they're not new, they're not fresh.
Okay. Are they the only two types that you can do, or
No.
that you have done?
No, any type at all.
I can hold on to these, can I?
You can, yeah.
What grade tobacco is that?
I'm not sure about that one there, but there's two different prices. Not two different qualities. Just the top quality of that one there wouldn't be the best one there.
It's a bit rough looking.
Yeah, it's an old one that.
Are you making them?
Yeah.
Where exactly is Mark based?
Based out in China.
That's not a great copy of the barcode.
No, the packaging, that's not great yet. There's actually a new packaging for that one.
Do you have any samples of what you have at the moment?
I can get them for next week for you.
Oh, we're the